Here is a video that should be interesting for many people on the twin flame journey. I made myself comfortable in my new twin flame studio, in front of my warm fireplace and the magical picture. Hey, please don't copy me with the books so close to the fire, these are very special ones, and there's a fire extinguisher right around the corner. It is said that everything depends on your state of consciousness, that inner union is the prerequisite for physical union. But is that really true? Is it solely up to us to bring about twin flame union? Or is there perhaps something working against it, delaying it? The statement is true, the mind governs matter, the world is a projection of consciousness, we don't want to question the spiritual laws behind it at all, but we also have to consider the metaphysics of existence, the structure of reality. This topic fits well with the Twin Flame Matrix series here. By the way, the new part is coming soon, check it out, I'll be diving deeper into the subject and its possible background. I'm not a real expert or scientist, but I have certain experiences, and when you research, you come across knowledge and explanations that match what you've experienced, and even give it a scientific and logical foundation. Before I tell you about a few events from my twin flame journey and some strange disruptions, let's first take a look at the possible and meaningful explanation. A good, relatively neutral term for the matrix of existence is a self-organizing quantum field that responds to the frequency of your quantum field, which is why this whole frequency thing is so important. And it doesn't respond to one-time fluctuations in frequency, it responds to the consistent, stable frequency, or also to unusual increases and frequency events. Twin flames, the energy, the frequency that arises, is one such unusually strong increase in the frequency of the quantum field. The energy of unconditional love and truth is an anomaly in the matrix, it creates a crack in the illusion. That's not just a cool phrase, it's a fact, but what exactly does it mean? To understand it better, the person having this experience sees that reality is not as fixed as it's generally supposed to be, that there is so much more, that reality is far greater, you look behind the veil, get a sense of infinity and eternity. Unconditional love transcends all lies and illusions. But the system functions through belief in finitude and mortality. If everyone understood what is going on here, it would collapse. I once heard a good comparison, it's like an autonomous immune system that activates in the face of such an anomaly and then tries to correct the system disruption. Every energetic system, regardless of what kind, will try to balance out this anomaly. It will generate counter-movement and pressure, manifested as unusual 3D events that appear like bad luck or unfortunate coincidence. This is probably also the mechanism behind the famous tests of the universe. The frequency rises, and the matrix tries to regulate it, to align it with the base frequency of the illusion. People also often speak of dark forces, or the Gnostic Archons, which don't refer to classical demons. They are negative energies in the structural background that act on mind and matter, manifesting in the physical world, in events, or in the behavior of people. These frequency tests, events, and pressure phases ideally need to be passed, to be mastered, by maintaining your own vibration despite the disruptions, or by absorbing the external, foreign frequency and converting it into a positive one. You could also call it vibrational alchemy. Keeping your own vibration consistently high is not always possible, however. Sometimes we involuntarily find ourselves in situations, which can also be inner or mental ones, or around people where this is difficult to impossible, unless you happen to be an enlightened spiritual grandmaster. In 3D, disturbances to frequency cannot be avoided. What matters is how you deal with them, how quickly you return to your center, to a stable frequency. Spiritual mastery is always energetic mastery. That's an important sentence. In general, if you want to understand reality better, you have to take into account that from deeper levels onward, everything consists of energy, information, and vibration, as the famous and visionary scientist once said. You should keep that in mind especially on the twin flame journey. Twin flames are an energetic consciousness phenomenon, the classic alchemical process with an external catalyst. That's the theory. How do you apply it in practice? The matrix and frequency disturbances will trigger your subconscious every time, the automatic parts of the brain, activate a nervous system response, and drive you into unconscious thoughts and behavioral patterns. Anger, fear, despair, panic, hatred, these emotions will drastically lower your frequency. The secret is, you have to gain lasting control over these automatisms of the mind. This control cannot be thought into existence. You have to develop and train consciousness through meditation, practice silencing your thoughts whenever possible, no mind. Consciousness grows like a muscle, it has to become strong enough to overcome the automatisms. Conscious presence must become the permanent operating system. That is what makes frequency stable and resilient. Control over your thoughts and emotions means control over your frequency. It may sound very technical, but at the same time everything is very natural, because you detach from the mechanical and limiting parts of the brain, a state of mental freedom and sovereignty emerges that first makes it possible to truly connect with the soul. Once the soul is free, much regulates itself. My advice to you, don't treat meditation as a casual spiritual hobby. Do it regularly and properly. See it like brushing your teeth or exercising, a necessity. For now, forget visualizations, guided meditation, and all the extras around it. Learn to silence your thoughts, to feel the consciousness, the mental presence behind them, to recognize the spark. Consciousness is just another word for soul. If you really want to understand the twin flame journey, you have to free yourself from human words and religious interpretations. Here's another trick, actually a logical one, but I heard a sentence yesterday that sounds really cool. You have to create polarity. Do or think the opposite of the negative emotion. Be courageous when you feel fear, show love and understanding when others hate, and so on. Okay, before the video gets too long, I think you've understood roughly what I mean. I don't want to say this is definitely how it is, but it is my experience, and it also aligns with the reports of other people, clear patterns that I and others observe. A current example. I'm currently busy with several projects and professional changes, so usually a lot to do. Naturally you look forward to days when you can take some time off to relax. In the past few months, those happen to fall on days like Christmas, Easter, long weekends, so relatively rarely. The last 4 times, without exception, something came up that neutralized the free time. Twice I got sick exactly then, and once it prevented a reunion with my twin at a gathering, one of the rare occasions where that was possible. Could be coincidence, of course, but still strange. And what should we say about coincidence? If you're here watching twin flame videos, you'll already be familiar with the phenomenon. Let me also quickly mention some of the disturbances and strange events I've experienced over the past months and years. Let's start from when the twin flame journey began. I knew nothing about twin flames, but I was in love, had a small blog, was writing a science fiction novel called Der falsche Himmel, The False Heaven, was in the process of changing my life, had just moved, and then ended up in hospital for 6 weeks. It was fairly serious, I was lucky, and had my twin not suddenly appeared, who knows what would have happened. Here is something very interesting that I think I forgot to include in my book. I wanted to write to my twin on Valentine's Day, had a nice email prepared, and the evening before, my internet went completely down. I had been living there for several years and had no problems with the Wi-Fi up to that evening, but then it went out. Sending the email became a small challenge, and I ended up sitting in a shady internet cafe on the morning of Valentine's Day, sending it from there. Technical failures and disruptions are frequently reported, and I can only confirm that, along with other things that unexpectedly break down. 2 weeks ago I had a blackout here in the apartment because a water heater was faulty, but at the same time a drain pipe was suddenly blocked. The blackout story actually began with an inexplicable blackout the week before. I was sitting with someone and mentioned something about the power supply and a blackout, and at exactly that moment the power went out, one of those strange coincidences I experience quite often. These are things I know nothing about and then had to deal with, research, phone calls, appointments with tradespeople, and of course that keeps you from working on creative projects. I had planned quite a few things for the day of the blackout, then I woke up, the power was gone, and I was at a loss. There was no thinking about writing books that day. I've gotten the impression that my book projects in particular are being delayed by such external events, or even abandoned entirely. That might sound like a cheap excuse, and I'm fully aware that it's up to me alone whether I finish a book or not, but the events and disruptions have had real effects that kept me from writing. 2 more examples. I was writing a very promising novel called Soulcatcher. The manuscript was already well advanced, I was highly motivated, then I bought a new, powerful laptop and a popular online game that had just been released at the time. What can I say? I was so fascinated by the game, it pulled me in so completely. I was out of active writing for years, and the book was never finished. It only ended abruptly on the night I fell in love with my twin. After that I never touched the game again. I had completely lost interest in it. Hey, if you're one of the few viewers right now and you've made it this far, I've been thinking, what purpose did that time serve? Was it just wasted time? No. I'm currently turning one of the greatest mind control systems of the modern age into a system of awakening. It's a super secret project, it has nothing to do with twin flames but everything to do with the soul, a kind of mass awakening for the next generation. I'm also in the process of going self-employed as a freelance author these days. I'll be seeking legal advice on the project, and if everything works out, you'll think, what the hell is this twin flame doing? I'm really looking forward to it, it's going to be big. Stickers with barcodes, flyers, I have a vision. That's also what I meant earlier about the crack in the matrix, what the power of love can bring about, how knowledge and truth spread through it and touch the collective as well. But there's something else we'll need to talk about in the future. Is this mass awakening purely positive? How will the matrix react to it? Will the whole planet ascend, or could there also be a matrix reset, as may have happened before in human history? The topic runs deep, and there are still a number of points to connect and research, also regarding current world events, the origins of humanity, prophecies, and rumors. But back to the matrix disturbances. Some worse things have also happened that have influenced the twin flame journey, but those would go too far into the private sphere. Sometimes uninvolved people and beings are also affected, but a lot of that is speculation, and not everything has to be connected to your own story. What I still wanted to tell you, though, because I connected directly to the twin flame journey, one of my budgerigars died in an unusual way. I've seen birds die before, but this was very strange. And then something even more mysterious happened, which also says a lot about the structure of reality. I had uploaded a video to my German channel at exactly that time, and when I later wanted to copy the link, his name, Elmo, appeared in the link address, in that randomly generated code. That's actually almost impossible. The statistical probability alone for something like that. If you don't believe me, search on my German channel for the video about the occult secret of the tarot cards and look at the link. Certain events often have a backstory and a development, or are partly self-caused. What's unusual is often the timing, the fact that these things happen precisely then, at that moment, on that day. Also noticeable are days and phases when an unusually large number of these disturbances come together. They pass, but you have to get through them first. Let's slowly come to the end of the video. It wasn't actually supposed to get this long. You shouldn't take everything that happens personally, and the brain naturally searches for patterns, that's how it's made. What this video wants to say is, it's not always solely your fault. There are thousands of factors you cannot directly influence. There is this interplay between inner and outer, as taught in Hermeticism as well. But it also doesn't mean handing over responsibility to fateful influences or the matrix system, because there is something we are responsible for, our own state, the frequency we send out into the world. To close, perhaps you also noticed a few coincidences with the Gnostic connections. Those are genuinely real coincidences. I had no contact with Gnosis at the time, I had made up those stories myself. Draw your own conclusions from that, but it is strange, isn't it? If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and comment, that would make me very happy. Or if you want to dive even deeper into these topics and learn more about my twin flame journey, check out my book Twin Flame Gnosis. You'll find links and sample readings on my website. All the best to you, until the next video, and hold your frequency.